Okay, so this is cool. This is something that's very cool. The Universal Credit people have verified our identity, which we posted about. Also, our money has not been cut like much, if at all, off of what it would be from the ESA, which we were really afraid it was going to be because it could have been. But they included the right amount of benefits that we're entitled to, so we didn't have to like apply for extra things after, which would have taken us a long time to recover and then do again, because that is fucking extensive. So we are on the right amount of money and the right benefits, and we don't have to like re-deal with them. And I'm so fucking relieved that I can't even fully feel it yet. Like, parts of me are still just like, well, hold on, this has got to go more wrong than that. This has got to be like, you know, it can't be this decent. I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop a lot, and I'm kind of feeling really fucking relieved. It's just, I'm just starting to feel really fucking relieved. I was about ready to drop. I was so exhausted. We've still got like loads of vlogs backdated about dealing with the Universal Credit people and stuff, and like the sort of things it triggers and the sort of reasons why it's triggering, I think. But because of the way the triggers affect me, I have not yet been in a place where I could watch them back or consider posting them or sharing them. I'm not in a rush. I'll get there. I'm confident of that. I think they're really informative and useful. It's just that I have needed a break. This whole past few months, oh my god. I'm so drained. I'm so fucking drained. I'm not giving it back. The UC people, I expect to be the one that deals with those in future occurrences as well. What do I do as a host if you deal with like bureaucracy and shit? We don't have to deal with it often. You do a lot. For a start, you place yourself directly in and attempt to integrate every day the sort of shit we've been through. Yours and mine. That's enough. That's way more than enough. You could stand to slow down a bit, actually. I know, you don't have to tell me that. No, I feel it. I'm so tired. I'm like tired to my fucking... It's just like every fibre of my being, my fucking atoms are exhausted. God. It's really hard to work out how to not abandon any part of yourself and how to integrate memories and emotions and viewpoints and beliefs and change some core beliefs. It's really hard to like do all of this work to try and become more whole as people while doing stuff like preparing for the MCR concert, which I fucking love and I'm so glad we went, but like, dude, the fucking, oh my god, the work it took to manage to go. Like, just the whole month before, that was a long lead up. And then the Universal Credit, like, they can so barely keep us stable. It's like treading water, and if we throw in just one more thing that I have to deal with, it's like we get totally dysregulated. It takes a while to like regulate again. I'm like, my sleeping pattern's fucked. Not complaining about it. Thoroughly fine. I'm getting enough sleep whenever I do sleep, and that's really all I'm focused on at this point. My eating, oofed, and a trigger warning for what maybe talk of eating disorders, to be honest. I don't know, because it's not diagnosed, because we hate doctors so much that we have a whole host of shit undiagnosed. Dealing with them is like another massive fucking load of trauma that we have to go into to do. So that is slow. And yeah, I have been watching more videos on anorexia, and a lot of the shit that I'm seeing and hearing people describe is really uncomfortably familiar. There are things that I didn't notice that I did that I'm like, yeah, I've always done that, or yeah, it feels like that just doesn't it, to everyone? And there's some parts of me, like specifically the part of me that would have formerly gone by Nightshade, TM, was not, like, I was not big on food, and I feel like I am the most in the front when we're the most grounded. So we're kind of, I don't know how to explain how fusion feels like. It really feels like we form and reform and like parts, like Agario blob together in weird formations, but it feels like it's very, like, reality is really fucking there, and I'm very able to feel our body and shit if I'm the one sort of, yeah, slightly more in front of the other parts of me. They kind of feel like they bleed into me. Without them bleeding into me, totally different person, totally different experiences. But with anyone else ahead, with this in like a different shape or order, there's some distance, or like some cogs don't mesh right. It doesn't feel like, it's a weird feeling to describe. It's very trial and error, but you also kind of feel pulled to a certain like click fit, and then, dunno, things just seem to go a bit smoother and are a lot harder work. But so far this is like, yeah, I feel very existent, which is amazing. I really do feel like I'm coming back to life. And here we get to like eating. Eating has not been fun for me. I spent like a long time in our childhood when I was fronting a lot as that part of me. We would go days without really eating anything, and just like, there is this like Halloween tube of liquid blood stuff that was just sugary, syrupy, dyed red shit, that I once made the horrific mistake of trying to drink while upside down in a tree. That went as well as you can imagine. But anyway, since that was like one of the first things that I managed to actually like, I think I must have just split, because I don't remember before. I'm just like, I remember fronting, I remember this period of time. Mum would know it as our vampire phase, but like, I would sleep under our bed, just on the floor. I did try to sleep in the cupboard, but a friend's face went purple when he hung upside down there for a while, and we were like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And yeah, I really just having, you know, it was so much more than just a vampire phase, because the level that we would have to go to, because I really felt like I couldn't eat. Like, my stomach just did not feel like it was accustomed to or supposed to have food in it. It didn't feel like it could digest food. Which, I'm thinking about it now, probably that's probably part of the trauma. And maybe my stomach was just so offline, but at the time I was like, yeah, that would make sense, because vampires don't really have to eat food. So I think I'm about, I think it would be 6, 7 I think maybe mostly 7 to 8 to 9-ish that I'm thinking here. So what I would do is, like, I would bite into plums and just drain the juice from them and throw them away, and I could eat that. That was it. I managed to start eating tomato soup because it tasted like blood. Probably because of the metallic can. But, like, it was infrequent and it was touch and go, and I couldn't eat large amounts at the time because having food in the stomach was a very triggering feeling that just... No. So that has reared its head with a fucking vengeance since this fusion and since getting this, like, well... cemented, mixed in. Whatever the fuck I am that makes me feel like I'm more here and better joined to other parts of me and in a shape that seems to be working for us. That's gotten really fucking difficult. And I feel physically fucking repulsed by food. I'm becoming aware of things like my breathing, my need to breathe, my heartbeat, my body, the blood running. All of this stuff felt ice cold and just void and like it was not occurring when I was younger. And when I woke up, like, or came out of the inner world, like, what would it be, like 2 years ago now? So, you know, I do very much feel like it feels like this body is alive and a living, moving, breathing thing now that needs food. And also, it still feels like my stomach is not supposed to have food in it. It's very uncomfortable. I am really fucking struggling to eat anything. I'm like, occasionally, it's been a point that's like, it's made us like have distance between myself a couple of times now, because it's got to the point where it's like younger parts in me could eat, and even though it makes me feel really sick, I can just shut my eyes and like pull back away and get out of the way, basically very far from the front. And it's like I have to disconnect myself for them to eat, and I don't want to keep doing that because it's really disorientating, and it feels like I don't like the feeling of being disconnected from myself anymore. And also, I can't just not fucking eat, so I think I'm gonna have to rebuy soup. It feels like my stomach has not had food in it for a long time. Like, it feels like I feel sick every time I fucking eat. I have to eat really small amounts. I managed, like, on the day of the concert, I don't really want to go into amounts because I know how this stuff can play out in your brain a bit, but like, I did not eat enough for that day, and I think I was like more drained than, I mean, arguably the anxiety would have helped with that, but it's just now, resting and recovering, I'm not eating a worrying amount, but I'm not really eating enough. Like, I managed to have 3 pieces of black pudding and egg, and I still felt sick, and I felt like just fucking repulsed from the idea of it being anywhere near me. But I kind of have to try to calm myself down and force myself to eat in a very gentle way, because, you know, it's just the facts. I have to fucking eat. I hate it. Oh. So like that is being a time, but you straight up cannot trauma process on an empty stomach. Like, it drains me, and I need to be able to think clearly, which I can't do if I haven't eaten enough. It's fucked. So it's like, it's really hard to try and get that to a stable place at the minute where I'm eating enough. for the work we're doing, and not constantly thinking about my weight, the way the body looks, feeling really uncomfortable despite probably not needing to, but I do. And then also there's like, don't know, man, there's this weird feeling of control if I'm like, I feel like everything is a bit more secure and a bit more in control if I'm not eating, and that does not spark joy. So that's really, I'm trying not to freak out about it, because who's that going to help? But you know, I am acknowledging that this is a bit of a problem in this, at this point, in this shape, and I am trying my best to address it as gently as I can. Like, we're not eating a worryingly low amount. We're on the edge of eating a worrying, like, we're not eating enough for me to think we're physically in danger. We are eating not enough for me to be like, this is impacting us. And I think I'm thinner than I should be, but I feel comfortable at this weight, and I'm like, that's a problem. It's fucked. Just the idea of eating food really makes me feel sick. It just fucking repulses me. It feels like the idea of like shoveling fucking dirt into my face or eating sofa cushions. It's like, that is what the idea of putting food near my face feels like. It's just, or some food that somebody else has spat out. It's just all so fucking repulsive to me. And communicating with people, that's taken a hit. Vlogging, that's taken a hit. It's like I'm much more aware of insecurities and anxieties. I can feel them a lot more. There's a lot more of them to consider. There's a lot of like lack of self-confidence that is fucking bullshit, and I never had before fusing, but I think other parts of me did, and so I like second guess myself every fucking sentence at the minute. I have to just be very in my body and very not in my brain for talking. The same for trying to communicate with friends. It's really hard to even listen to anything anyone says to me without like this sudden snowball avalanche of racing thoughts being like, this is what's expected of you as a person, this is what you have to do, and you're not capable of this, and like, you're not able to empathize properly or listen, or you're too traumatized to be able to focus outside of yourself, and therefore you're going to let these people down or not be there enough for them, or come across as like too self-involved, because self-preserving is all my brain will currently do, even though none of the lovely fucking awesome people that we're in contact with would expect anything from me, and I know that. It's just the feeling of the things I tell myself, I guess, that I try to keep out of my head, to ignore, and just try and focus on how things feel for me, where those feelings are coming from, what's been invoked and why. Again, ground to the body and to the present, and try and work out if it's emotional flashbacks running, and just regulate whatever state my nervous system seems to be in at the time, try to get to a calmer place and then re-engage. I was just like basically opening messages and listening to it and having this really mixed feeling of like super happy excitement and relief and gratitude that we have so many fucking awesome friends that I want to talk to, and then this pulled back, reserved, kind of fearful panic of inadequacy on my part, or that I think used to come across as like hating people before. I just thought people were fucking stupid and I didn't want to have anything to do with them. And now I'm like, this feels a lot more about me and about how I feel like I can deal with people and what value I contribute, which is fucking bullshit. I have always been aware of my value. It was other people I had a fucking problem with. So this is all fucking new. Enjoy it being spewed out in molten crazy. I'm so fucking... I don't even know what. It's a lot to deal with, and I'm not wishing for it to stop, because that would be wishing to have less parts of me altogether, because that is what's creating this ultimately. More parts of me, more whole. I have way more ability to deal with this, and way more skill sets that I can employ that reach more parts of me and go deeper. Also, it's the same for insecurities and anxiety and trauma, and it fucking sucks. That part fucking sucks. Anxiety fucking sucks. Lack of self-trust fucking sucks. Thank you for listening to me vent. I mean, yes, anyone who watches this, but you. I did mean you. Oh, that's not something you have to fucking thank me for. And not just offering solutions, or... You're really good at just listening, and you don't feel like you're panicking or like you need me to shut up or feel a different way. I don't. No, I completely understand. A lot of this is very relatable for me as well. Even if it weren't, I don't think you should have to feel a different way than the way you're feeling. I don't see how you possibly could. Please don't bite me, little beetle. You can chill on my hand. Oh, it flew off. Fuck. Fuck. Absolutely fucking fuck. The fucking fucker is fucking fucked. Dude.